OK, let's bring in Sahar Khamis, who's a senior fellow with the Middle East Council on Global Affairs. She joins us from Washington, D.C. Welcome back to the programme. I mean, given the obvious limitations of what we've seen take place in Riyadh, how might the latest Arab and OIC communique really help influence US foreign policy towards Israel?
Yeah, thank you for having me. I think that there is a limited influence at the moment from these bodies because there seems to be a lot of differences within these bodies among themselves, which are being masked by some kind of lame and, very much benign statement that does not really meet the expectations and the demands of the Palestinian people and their own needs at the moment. The humanitarian crisis is really awful. There is a very big human toll every single day. We're seeing all of these terrible images of death, destruction, carnage, and all of these kids who are dying and mothers yelling and screaming. It is really, really a huge humanitarian crisis. And I think there was much more expectation of what could possibly come out of such a summit, possibly some kind of severing ties, cutting ties with Israel diplomatically and economically. That did not happen. Stopping all the flights to and from Israel into the region. That also did not happen. Even using something like oil as a leverage to really pressure a ceasefire immediately. That also did not happen. Even a proposition or, for example, some kind of suggestion to have some kind of delegation to go and visit the US, Europe and Russia to try to push forward a ceasefire as quickly as possible. That also did not happen. So what we are really seeing now is just a rhetorical statement, which is very much, mild, very much benign, and really is beneath expectations. I think that these Arab leaders just want to basically absorb maybe some of the anger, the public opinion anger in their own countries and nations. But I don't think that with this kind of resolution, this kind of outcome, which is very mild and very much beneath expectations, that they can really influence the US policy at the moment, unfortunately.
Right. As you mentioned there, if this was indeed just simply rhetorical, simply symbolic, I mean, clearly, with large numbers of demonstrators on the streets of many cities of many Arab countries, the question is whether those leaders, those OIC leaders, those Arab League leaders are actually beholden to public opinion.
I think that what we are seeing now, Neve, is really unprecedented in terms of the public awareness about the Palestinian issue, the cause of the Palestinian people, the plight of the Palestinian people, the suffering that they are really, dealing with every single day. It is really creating some kind of awareness regionally, locally, globally, internationally, on an unprecedented scale. So I think that leaders and rulers at the end of the day will have to pay attention to what their own publics are saying. I even think this summit that we're talking about, even though it did not meet the expectations and did not really deliver what was hoped for, it is still a symbolic sign that, there is this kind of growing anger within the Arab world, within the Middle East. And indeed, some of them are close allies of the United States. So I think the message is becoming clearer and louder. Maybe it does not meet our expectations at the moment, but there is this kind of trend which is growing by the day and putting pressure on leaders east and west. The hope is they're going to deliver and listen sooner rather than later.
Yeah, putting pressure on leaders east and west indeed. Sahar, good to have you on the programme again. Sahar Khamis, Senior Fellow with the Middle East Council on Global Affairs.